These are things that we need to fight for to make sure that we give economic futures. We've got to fight for gender equality. Many of the countries that we're talking about are dependent upon agriculture as their basic part of their economy. And yet, they don't allow women to own land. They try to use women almost as slaves. In some cases they are. We've got to fight for gender equality, because a country will never be at peace unless it treats its women right. And will never be able to have the economic growth they need. We got to fight for those principles. America cannot go back to isolationism. We need to be engaged in the international community, because we're at risk as any other free country is. If we don't solve these problems, extremism will flourish. If we do, we're going to have stable neighbors. It's interesting, we hear about those countries that we are at risk with. Many countries we are not, because we have been successful in those other countries. So I guess my basic message today is this. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. We haven't had many like this in the last week. It's sunny out, actually, and you're inside. That tells me something. That tells me something that you understand the importance of this subject matter. You understand that there's a better way to do things here in America and around the world. You give me hope as a United States Senator working in a place that has had too many dark days, that we do have a bright future ahead of us, and that we can indeed provide international leadership to make this world safer and stronger, so families can grow and we can have a peaceful existence. I really look forward to the results of this day. You got off to a great start with this last panel. I know you have a couple panels this afternoon, and we look forward to hearing the results of your work. Now, I actually I think, still have about 10 minutes before the scheduled break, if I'm right, maybe 5 minutes. So if you would like me to take questions, I'm more than happy to. I'm a United States Senator. I could talk for another couple hours if you want me to talk for another couple hours. But thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Any questions? Any questions for Senator Cardin?
Thank you for your time, Senator. My name's Jack. I'm a student at the Key School. And I couldn't agree more that we have to become engaged on the international stage, but there's really only two ways of doing it, and that is international agreement and foreign intervention. And the thing is, we've learned today that we can't really build nations, and we can't really follow the rules of our own foreign agreements. So, I mean, I agree with you that we have to become engaged, and it's really the only way through this, but looking at our track record, how are we going to move forward?
Well, there's a lot of ways to get engaged. First of all, we should be aggressively involved in international organizations. I'm the Senate chair of the Helsinki Commission, which is the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. It includes all of the countries of Europe and Central Asia, former republics of the Soviet Union, includes Canada and the United States, and we have associate membership of many countries around the world, including many countries in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. So the Helsinki Commission, the OSCE, was developed as a consensus body, which means no one can dictate. But we've all signed commitments. Every country has signed a commitment to say that we believe in basic human rights, we believe in basic security, and we believe in basic economics for our people. And all three are interrelated. You can't have human rights unless you have economic justice. You can't have economic justice unless you have security. You can't have security unless you have basic human rights. And it's right for us to challenge when other countries do things that we think was wrong. I challenged America during the torture. That to me was, we violated our commitments to OSCE when we allowed torture to take place. It was not only wrong, it was not only illegal, it was dumb. And I pointed all that out. I let international observers go into Guantanamo Bay. So I'm questioning what's going on in Russia today. The way that they have treated a guy named Sergei Magnitsky, tortured and killed him because he whistleblowed on corruption in their system. I have a right to demand justice from Russia in that. So there are legitimate ways that we can intercede based upon commitments made by most of the countries in the world. You have the United Nations. We need to use the United Nations. We need to make the United Nations more effective than it is today. So there are international organizations. NATO, of course, has expanded dramatically. What I think your question is mainly aimed at, if we don't get cooperation, do we have the right to intercede if we don't have cooperation from our country? Was it right for the United States to join the international force in Libya? I happen to think it was right. Was it right for the United States to join with the international community what happened in the former Yugoslavia, in Bosnia? I think it was right. But I think we have to work under the umbrella of international legitimacy, and we can't make our own arbitrary judgments. To me, we made a huge mistake by going into Iraq. That was not a justified military campaign.